unless Mustard was in the dining hall. Glove says Mustard was in the junkyard, a room we'll soon see, and asks why he even showed up to play if he's just going to hide in a corner all game, to which Flute responds, for the money. After a bit more chatting, the three of them decide that if they ever run into each other again, they'll quickly flash their axe as a greeting. That way they'll know it's really one of them. The three of them cross into the library, explore for a little, and then venture into the scrapyard, where, as Glove mentioned, they run into a player crouching in the corner, just watching them. The three of them turn down the other hallway into the lounge room, exploring a little further before suddenly they get blindness, indicating the round has ended. The meeting starts, and we learn that Flute is dead. From this first round alone, we've already met 5 of the 7 players in this game: Oak, Flute, Glove, Mustard, and whoever this was at the start. Given that Flute must have been marked at some point in the round, it's very likely that Glove could have killed her, though given his immediate reaction in chat, it's unsure. The actual meeting footage is just a long chat conversation though, and for the sake of an entertaining video, I've constructed my own meeting room and will turn these chat messages directly into voice-acted audio. Every line you're about to hear is straight from the meeting chat.
Whoa, Flute?
What? We were just with-
Hello? Are you stupid?
Calm down, it's not a big deal.
Are you kidding me? You can't just go shooting the first person you see. That's ridiculous.
Well, you weren't holding a tool, bro.
What?
Your open hand was out like you were gonna mark me. So surely you'd only do that if you were the spark.
Genuinely, you must be the spark. I don't know how someone can be this dumb.
Dude, it makes perfect sense.
Dude, this idiot is gonna be the reason we lose $1,000. Ridiculous.
If you're wondering what Knife is talking about and why he's so aggressive, I can only answer the former. You may have noticed that Oak, and everyone else, is given a crossbow. Each round, they get one arrow that can reveal the name tag of whoever they shoot. Cardboard, seeing that Knife had no item in his hand, must have thought he was going to get marked and shot him, an act that Knife does not take lightly.
Well, if anything bad happens, just know Knife wasn't holding an item.
Come on. There's no way we're serious. You have to be trolling. Can we just vote this guy out? He's practically useless.
With your attitude, we might as well just vote you out and save ourselves the trouble.
And who invited you, smart guy? Last I checked, the girl you were with was the first to go. So don't you think it's a little bit more likely that you're the spark as opposed to me and Blockhead over here?
You think I killed her? That's why I'm surprised.
She was with us, but it would be stupid for Oak to kill her round 1 while I was also with him. And the same goes for me. If anything, I say that makes both of us less suspicious.
Yeah, likely story.
I think it makes sense. Mustard, do you have any info?
No, I didn't see anything.
Well, you're just a bundle of joy, aren't you?
I could say the same thing to you.
So, who is it?
We don't know yet.
We don't know, dimwit. If we knew, the game would be over.
Listen, it's not gonna get you anywhere to insult the guy. How about instead we just think up a plan?
I agree. We only have like 30 more seconds left anyway, so let's at least get our info. I finished the game with Knife and Cardboard. Glove, you and Oak were with Flute right before she died, right?
The round ends with Glove asking this.
And I take it no one was swapped with anyone? If so, that'd be good info to have.
No.
Nope.
The final thing I have yet to mention about Matchbox is that every 2 minutes, by pressing G, the spark can swap positions with a random player on the map, so checking for swaps seems like a good strategy to get information.
Wait,
Yeah?
how would we know if we were swapped?
You cannot be serious.
With hardly any information after the first meeting, it seems like Glove may be the most likely candidate for who marked Flute, meaning that Oak may have just befriended the killer. Regardless, the next round starts with Oak in the scrapyard, and he runs towards the lounge and immediately bumps into another player exiting the maze. Oak swaps to his axe, and the other player, Glove, does the same. After confirming that neither of them had run into someone else on the way here, Glove mentions that whoever killed Flute was likely the person she saw in the dining hall who she thought could have been Mustard. Oak agrees, and then Glove suggests a stakeout. He leads Oak up a secret path he spotted in the tree at the center of the atrium. Their plan is to hold a stakeout and try to catch someone in a lie, and it's not long before they spot someone. 2 players emerge from the direction of the pot room, one following the other. The one in front front, places a sign, and Oak turns down his FOV to try and get a better look. The text is admittedly hard to read, but seems to say something like, "Stop following me." The other player tries to place a sign in response, but the first player breaks it before they can finish typing. And then this happens again. The first player places another sign before walking away, but quickly runs into someone else emerging from the lounge. Oak watches as the two stare each other down. Before the first player writes something on a sign we can't read, the player on the lounge stares at it and then walks away. The first player then leaves towards the library with the second following close behind. Oak and Glove immediately get to talking, speculating that what we just watched was knife and cardboard, for which the behavior lines up with what we know about both characters. Who they ran into is a bit more ambiguous though, with Oak thinking that it could be Mustard. The round keeps going with no more player sightings, and before it ends, Oak tells Glove to meet him in the viewing lobby next round. When the meeting comes, it's Cardboard who's found dead.
Good riddance.
As if you didn't kill him.
Excuse me?
I mean, Knife, it's obvious to everyone here that he pissed you off in the first round. And since he kept following you around, you couldn't mark anyone without him knowing. So you pretty much had to kill him.
That's way too obvious. Only a wormwit would have killed him in my position. Why would I kill the person following me around and essentially incriminate myself?
Because you're low-key kinda stupid.
Yeah, you're one to talk.
Glove, do you have any information?
Only as much as Oak does. Knife, you entered the atrium with Cardboard, right?
And if I did, how would you know?
Well, if you're not the spark, this is how we clear you.
Except he's not clear.
Yeah, we came in a little bit after the round started.
Did you see anyone else in that time?
Not beforehand. I ran into Cardboard first, and the kid just latched onto me like a parasite. Afterwards, we ran into someone coming from the lounge before I left.
And you met Cardboard where?
The pottery room by the dining hall.
Okay, and who was the player you ran into in the atrium?
You tell me, genius. I have no idea.
Was it Mustard?
It was me.
Well, there you go. Mustard.
This essentially confirms that Oak and Glove were right. This interaction was Knife, Cardboard, and Mustard, with Venus unaccounted for.
And Venus, where were you?
The maze, just looking around for anything interesting.
Seems like it's probably Knife then.
Well, the maze is on the far left, and given Mustard came from the lounge, and Venus didn't mention running into him, I take it Venus was closer to the left side than the right.
Okay, and?
And he thinks I could have interacted with Cardboard and marked him before he met Knife.
Exactly.
Not bad logic, but I didn't see anyone that game. I was just trying to learn the layout of the maze.
Fair enough, but all we have is your word.
You know, knowing if the medic was still alive would be good information.
Who do you think is just gonna outright say that they're the medic?
I don't know. Someone like maybe Venus? Mustard? That's a clear right there if no one contests it.
Yeah, a clear and a target on their back. You're just fishing for your next kill, aren't you? That or you're helping out your girl here find her next victim.
You're so unpleasant, you know?
Yo, I hope the spark marks you next.
Oh, I'm so scared. Come mark me yourself then, Oak. Show me how to do it.
Listen, if I was the spark, you would already be out of this game by now.
With that, the meeting ends, and Oak is sent into the library for round 3, but first let's discuss for a second what we already know. So far, 2 people have died. Flute, who was with Glove and Oak, and Cardboard, who was with Knife. So who could have made these kills? The obvious suspect is Knife. The guy is clearly hostile and has a very good reason to kill Cardboard, though as he pointed out, it would seem stupid to kill the person following him and incriminate himself. As for the Flute kill, it's possible that any of Knife, Mustard, or Venus could have been the player that Flute ran into at the very start of the round. As Glove points out, Venus is totally unaccounted for Cardboard's kill and could have also marked him right away. Mustard, on the other hand, has a very clear alibi. He was at the bottom right with no way to see Cardboard. The most interesting suspect here, though, is Glove. He could have easily gotten the kill on Flute in the first round without Oak noticing, and while the Cardboard kill looks impossible, Glove did start the round coming out of the maze, the same side of the map we know Cardboard started in too, given he met Knife in the pottery room. But evidently we still don't have enough information to accurately confirm who the spark is, so the only way to get it is to watch round 3, where Oak, as promised in the last round, runs from the library through the atrium and to the viewing lobby where Glove is already waiting for him. Glove mentions that he ran into a player in the atrium on his way here, and Oak once again suggests a stakeout, to which Glove Glove of course agrees, suggesting that this time they keep watch on opposite corners of the tree to cover more ground. After making their way up, the two watch for any other players, and a few minutes later, they see someone coming up from the lounge. The player looks around and as Oak watches, runs into the left wing of the map. Oak runs to tell Glove and then returns to his post. A few minutes go by and another player runs out of the library. According to Glove, they ran into the viewing lobby right after. The round then continues silently until this happens. Oak is suddenly swapped into the maze, and we get our first look at the inside of the tunnels. Surprised, he wanders the labyrinth for the last minute of the round, but when the meeting starts...
Guys,
Yes?
I was marked.
What? How?
And the medic saved you?
Yeah, they must have.
So looks like the medic's alive after all.
Oak, you're the only one who knew where I was hiding, and the only person who could have reached me.
Wait, what?
The entire game, I've only interacted with two people, you and whoever I saw at the start. No one else could get up to that tree without me or you seeing.
You think that it was me who marked you?
I want to trust you, but there's no one else it could be.
What a surprise.
Oh, is he telling the truth?
No, what? How could I have marked you? It had to have been the other person you ran into.
Well, that's just it. It couldn't have been because someone else must have protected me. Meaning, unless you're the medic and you're telling me that right now that you saved my life, which it doesn't sound like you are, then you must be the spark.
This is a big accusation, but not an unfounded one. Glove being marked but saved by the medic means that of the two people he interacted with, the mystery man in the atrium and Oak, one is the medic and one is the spark, which doesn't look too good for Oak here, but Knife brings up an interesting point.
He could be lying, you know.
I already told you I'm not lying.
Not you, genius. Glove. He might not have been marked. It could be that the spark just didn't kill.
The chat messages literally stop for a small while as everyone realizes that Glove could have been lying about being marked and saved. And if that is the case, and he is actually the spark, then he's just made the boldest play of the game.
Well, if anyone hears the medic and you didn't protect someone, then speak up now and we know that Glove is the killer.
Okay, so this clearly proves that Glove is innocent.
And that makes you the killer.
No, it doesn't. And I can prove it too. Yo, Glove, where did you run into the other players earlier?
Atrium, heading south.
Did anyone run into someone else in the atrium?
Are you stupid? Owning up to that would be admitting you're either the killer or the medic. Although we already know the former is you.
You're not helping here, Knife.
And I don't see you doing anything, Princess. Unfortunate that your only friend here has turned out to be the spark.
There's no proof that it's Oak.
Come on, you can see it just as well as I can.
Glove, did I ever walk up to you during our stakeout on the tree?
Yes. You told me someone came from the lounge.
Did I ever after that, though? With a minute left or anything?
You asked for more signs.
And don't you find that odd? After we left the viewing platform, we hardly talked. I would still have a whole stack left, so why would I ask you for more?
Why did you?
Well, that's it, isn't it? Is that not obvious to you? Glove, just think about it. That wasn't me. I got swapped.
How convenient.
He's not lying. I was swapped as well.
Thank you, Mustard. Thank you. Someone was fishing for swaps. They swapped with Mustard and then swapped with me. Saw you, Glove, and then went to mark you, posing it as just asking for signs. That's the killer.
You know, if you are the spark, that is quite the 40 chess move.
I'm telling you, I'm not.
Knife then launches into a speech about why he thinks it's Venus, which Glove agrees with and Oak denies, and the video ends there with Mustard refusing to say where he was swapped to, Knife saying he could be the medic, and Glove arguing for more information. But in the last few seconds, Oak has a realization.
Wait, Knife. You said you were in the maze?
What about it?
That's exactly where I got swapped.
Oak Oak's alibi does check out with what we've seen. It's clear that he was confused when he got swapped into the maze, and as he pointed out, this also makes Glove essentially 100% not the spark. That leaves 3 suspects, with one of them, or maybe even Oak, being the medic. If the medic is Oak, the reason he didn't admit to it could have been to set a trap in case anyone else tried to claim it, in which case Oak would know for sure that it's them. But nobody does claim medics, so we don't know. Mustard is a question mark here because he gave no information besides the fact he was also swapped at some point. Knife said he was in the maze, but no one can prove that, and Venus said she was in the top left all game, which would line up with the behavior of the player we saw in the beginning, but all we have is her word. My best guess on the spark so far would actually be Knife here. His left side location makes sense for the fluke kill in round 1, and it seems like he actually could be double bluffing about both killing Cardboard and admitting to being in the maze when he knows Oak was swapped there, doing the obvious thing both times to avoid suspicion. But once again, we're left largely in the dark without a match. The only way forward is to watch the second to last round, Round 4. Once again, Oak and Glove meet up in the viewing lobby, Oak seeing a random player on his way there, but way too far to have marked him. Oak tells Glove about his growing suspicions of it being Knife, and Glove agrees it's possible, but admitting to being in the maze would be a weird play for Knife to pull. Oak also mentions trusting Venus, and then Glove suggests something interesting. A trap, using himself as bait to lure the spark over since he's the most innocent person in the lobby. Oak asks how the spark would know it's Glove, and Glove demonstrates just that. Shooting himself with the crossbow. With Glove's name tag revealed and the plan in motion, they post up right inside the lava room, Oak hiding in the corner ready to shoot whoever tries to kill Glove the second Glove flashes him the axe signal. The trap is set. The two wait around for a few minutes until Oak is swapped into the maze again. He immediately begins to run, panicking, because if he was swapped here, that means whoever is with Glove at this moment is without a doubt the spark. All Oak has to do is shoot his arrow at the person next to Glove and he guarantees himself the identity of the spark. All he needs to do is escape the maze before the round ends. He runs through the tunnels, hitting dead end after dead end after dead end, the seconds ticking by. If he can't get to Glove, he'll die and the whole trap will have been for nothing. He keeps running. A minute left. 45 seconds. 30 seconds left. He's out. All he has to do is make it to Glove. He rounds the bend through the lounge, into the atrium, and there he is. Glove. And the spark. He's too late. Oak goes hard at Knife, now certain and wanting to avenge his dead friend. All he has to do is convince Mustard to vote with him and Venus.
Guys, I know it's Knife for a fact. He tried to kill Glove in the previous round, failed, and now he's just finishing the job.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I haven't seen Glove the entire game.
Bro, please, as if you expect me to believe that for a second.
I don't expect you to believe anything, dimwit. Though unlike Cardboard, I wouldn't put it past you being the spark. I have a hard time believing even you would be this stupid to accuse me here.
So then what were you doing all game then?
Nothing. I was just exploring out the labyrinth again. I even ran into someone in the lounge. They can verify I was there.
That was me.
I also ran into someone in the lounge, so that doesn't mean much. I could have ran into Mustard, you could have ran into me, there's no way of knowing who's who. Oak, were you with Glove the entire round?
Yes, I was, in the volcano room, and he told me specifically no one else had interacted with him all game, so it had to have been Knife.
You have no grounds to even think it's me. Did you even see anyone else? And you know what I was going to say before you accused me for literally no reason. I got swapped. Tell me one good reason right now that Mustard and Venus should even humor your argument.
Oh, you got swapped? Well, so did I. I got swapped away from Glove, and that person must have marked him after the swap. I just wasn't fast enough to find out it was you.
Bullshit! I got swapped into the library, not a soul was there.
Wait, that's a blatant lie. I got swapped into the labyrinth, and that's exactly where you said you were.
Oh, come on, you just want me out. It's so obvious. You're just trying to cover for the fact that you pretended to befriend Glove just so you could kill him out and throw it on me. Nice plan, genius, but it's not gonna work.
Are you serious? That's what you're going with? Venus, Mustard, tell me you guys aren't seeing this. This guy's obviously been hostile the whole game and he's clearly the spark. He killed Cardboard because he annoyed him, and then killed Glove because he was onto him. He's obviously now just trying to bluff his way out of this.
So, Knife, you said you were swapped into the library, and Oak, you were swapped into the labyrinth?
Yes.
Yes, but he's lying.
Mustard, you weren't swapped, were you?
No.
Okay, neither was I, meaning that for certain, one of the two of them is lying.
Yeah, and that
Probably
person is Knife. Exactly.
You know you're the worst spark in the history of this game, and there's no chance you win, right? Even if you vote me out here, you made it clear to Mustard and Venus there's a 50-50 between the two of us. They just hide until the next meeting and you lose.
Well, luckily, we won't have to worry about that since once we vote you, the game's gonna be over.
Venus, I know you're an idiot, but Mustard, I have hope that you have at least some semblance of reason, and we'll vote Oak here.
Mustard, listen to me. I was in the volcano room, all game with Glove. We tried to set up a trap together using Glove as bait. It's just I got swapped away, and in that time, the spark, aka Knife, must have marked Glove. Vote with us, and I promise we will win. It is clearly Knife. Venus has an alibi running into you. You know you didn't get swapped. It has to be Knife.
I think he's right, Mustard. I'm pretty sure it's Knife.
Mustard, I was in the labyrinth all game, got swapped into the library, and then met you afterwards in the lounge. All I did was return to the maze. You saw me. Vote Oak, and the game ends here.
The voting phase comes. Knife is out.
Oh my god, idiots.
But as we can see, the game isn't over. There's one round left. Knife wasn't the spark. Oak spawns in, and immediately he knows one thing to be true. The killer is still alive. He runs, loading his crossbow and anxiously looking over his shoulder in case someone is following, and after hesitating for another second, he runs face first into the maze, trying to hide out the round. If he can survive here, and so can the other two, they have a chance at voting out the true spark, whoever it may be. Oak carefully wanders through the maze, peeking corners and crouching so as to not make a sound. Finally, he finds a path to hide in, crossbow at the ready, and he waits. It's Venus. She's hiding just like Oak and tells him to follow her, that she knows the route of the maze. Oak obliges, trusting her with his life. Venus leads him through the network of tunnels and into a small room we caught a glimpse of earlier, an area with a furnace and a crafting table. Venus tells him that they'll be safe here and there's no way Mustard can find them. Just in case he triggers a swap though, they decide to create a code word. Whenever one of them writes a sign saying torch, the other will say ketchup. If someone doesn't answer correctly, the other one knows that they've been swapped. For a few quiet minutes, Venus and Oak shuffle back and forth in the small room, drawing out the timer. If they can survive for these final minutes until the round ends without getting marked, they can vote out Mustard and win. It all comes down to this. 3 minutes left. Oak triggers the code word. Venus responds correctly. 2 minutes left. Oak asks Venus what they should do if Mustard finds them. Venus says that won't happen. 90 seconds left. Venus triggers the code word. Oak responds correctly. 60 seconds left. This is it. Mustard chases Oak down the hallway, sprinting after him. 40 seconds left. All Oak has to do is not get marked before the round ends. 30 seconds left. 20 seconds left. 15 seconds left. 10.
What? We all survived?
I thought for sure we lost.
Wait, so it's just Mustard. Venus, that was perfect. I barely escaped him. We just vote him here and we win.
Oh, you're the one who ran?
Well, yeah, though I'd imagine Venus would run too.
Oak, it's not you, is it?
What? No. Why? It's clearly Mustard here.
Oak, I was backed into a corner and I couldn't run. But Mustard didn't go after me.
What? Maybe he wasn't thinking straight. He probably didn't even notice you.
It's you. You're the spark. You were trying to run to act innocent.
Hello? Yo, if I was the spark, I would've just won there.
That's what I can't figure out. Why wouldn't you just mark me right away and win the game?
Maybe because I'm not the spark?
It's because he didn't want to gamble on the medic showing up. If he marked you, then there's a chance that the medic could still be alive and save you. He probably was waiting to mark you right before the round ended.
Okay, you actually sound dumb now, bro. Like, what kind of plan is that?
Why don't you think Oak could just be the medic? He could have protected me and ran away.
Because I'm the medic.
Okay, well, wow, what a great lie. Now you bring that up?
Oak, if you are the medic, you can stop hiding it. Just say it so I know I can trust you.
Venus, I'm saying this because I know you can trust me. I am not the medic. Mustard isn't either because he's the spark. I have no role. I'm not the medic. I'm not the spark. I'm innocent. That's it.
Mustard, I still don't get it. If Oak was the spark, why didn't he just kill you then at the end of the maze?
Because I'm not the spark? If I was, you're right. I could have just won.
He was probably just scared that I was protected, that you were somehow the medic and marked me. He didn't want to gamble on me possibly surviving and knowing he marked me. Even if it was a small chance that you were the medic, it would mean he was clearly exposed. He knows he has a better chance at just gaining your trust and voting me out.
So riddle me this, medic. Why did you chase me into the maze?
To save you!
What?
I figured that the one who ran into the maze first was more likely to be the innocent one, as they would think I was the spark. That was the person I wanted to protect, but it looks like my gamble was wrong.
Okay, Venus, there's no way you believe him.
Think about it this way. It was either him or Knife from the last round. You know you're innocent. Knife was voted out, so you have to vote for Oak.
I could just as easily see it being you, Mustard.
Just as easily? What? Yo, it is obviously him.
It's him, Venus. Vote Oak and we end the game here.
Venus, surely you don't believe him. Surely you know I'm innocent, right? I was literally with you the whole round. You know just as well as I do, if I was the spark, I would have won. You have to trust me. Venus.
that's the last video on Matchbox, and with that, the end of the experiment. The question, of course, remains, who was the spark? What happened there? Who won? Matchbox doesn't give us an answer. It's up to us to piece together the clues and decide for ourselves who we think the spark is. Was it Venus? Mustard? Or has it always been the player we've been watching this entire time? Oak. Matchbox is designed in a way that you could be watching the killer and have no idea. Right-clicking with your hand doesn't look like anything. Pressing G to swap doesn't either. In fact, if you trace the footage back, for each kill, Oak was there the entire time. Flute, glove, glove again. Oak was always there. Hand out, ready to mark. If you consider for a second that his reactions to getting swapped were just an act, it could really be that Oak was the spark. We've been watching the killer all along. Except, it doesn't line up. There's one kill here that Oak couldn't have possibly made. Cardboard. The entire second round, Oak was only close to Glove, and no one else. Unless this player was somehow Cardboard, and Glove was putting on an elaborate act somewhere else in the map, Oak couldn't have marked Cardboard. Oak cannot be the spark. So that leaves us with two options, Mustard and Venus. Venus is by far the character we know the least about. She's been present in hardly any of Oak's footage until the last round, and we don't know where she's been all game. As a result, it's very possible that she could have really been behind every murder we've seen. She marked Flute and Cardboard, swapped with Oak to mark Glove, and swapped with Oak to mark Glove again. But if it is Venus, why she didn't just vote Mustard out and instead let herself be gaslit into voting Oak is a mystery. Mustard, on the other hand, has more of an alibi. He was allegedly in the scrapyard round 1, so marking Flute would have been difficult, and he met up with Cardboard and Knife in the second round, so marking Cardboard there would also be a bit of a stretch. That being said, we don't know his exact whereabouts, so it could well have been him too. If it was Mustard though, then who was the medic? Venus and Oak didn't claim it, and we know the medic saved Glove, which can only mean one thing. Was Knife the medic? Unless it was Glove and he lied about being saved to bait someone out. The information just doesn't line up. The stories are incomplete. The Matchbox experiment doesn't tell us directly who the spark is, instead giving us pieces of broken information. We may never get a direct answer from the channel itself, but if anything, that just makes it a mystery more worth solving. It could be that maybe there's a puzzle piece I missed, and maybe one of you watching will be the one who solves the Matchbox. Until then though, good luck.
Hello, I'm playing a Let's Play world. I made a farm.
The player you're watching right now goes by the username Navy208. He chats to us casually as he shows off his house and his farm, completely unaware that he's being watched. The story begins with a series of relatively normal YouTube videos, but skyrockets down a deeply strange and unsettling rabbit hole, with multiple players going missing and something very unnatural just watching. But let's rewind a little back to Navy, who starts off his first video wondering what happened to his skin, though we don't get much context as to what exactly is wrong. He gives us a tour of his house, his mildly lackluster farm, and his strangely ambiguous green block atop a tree. Navy then shows us some of the land and expands the back of his house and ends the recording there, picking up where he left off in his second video titled Windows. He tries using a door as fuel despite having 17 coal and... wait. There it is. Atop a hill in the distance, for just a second, we can get a glimpse of a strange black block watching Navy with 2 eyes. Navy doesn't notice it though, and continues walking around his base unaware. He comes back to the furnace. The door didn't smelt, so he swaps in coal. He digs holes for the windows. The glass continues to smelt. The block still on the hill outside. Navy leaves the house, looking around. Does he know? He harvests his cacti, evidently unaware he's being watched. Or is he pretending? His items finish smelting. His coal runs dry. He places in the windows of the house, one by one by one by one, avoiding the spot with the block on the hill. He digs a tunnel into the basement of his sandstone foundation. He tiles his floor with cobblestone. The video ends. Nothing happens. But there's a detail of this footage that I left out. At the start of the video, we see the chat history between Navy and a player called BaseXD. Yo, I'm back. Yeah, I'll come back later. Okay, I'll record a video. The two then talk about a sheep and Base logs off, but remember Base because this isn't the last we'll see of him. The first 2 videos so far have been odd, but pretty subtle. However, video 3... The black block from before has now totally consumed Navy's base with fire, but Navy returns in the next video to no trace of it. Instead, a sign just saying sunlight. Interestingly, as Navy tours the rubble, we can see the black block is now gone from its perch on the hill. In its stead, however, the solid green blocks we saw in video 1 have now replaced Navy's cacti. Navy is clearly puzzled and continues to walk around the world, unsure what to even make of it all. Also worth noting, the arm in this video isn't the blue skin we've seen before. Instead, it's a regular Steve. The sun sets, and the video ends with Navy walking over to a pumpkin patch. The next video, titled Watching, is just 7 seconds of the black blocks. Nothing else. So we know these black blocks are important, but this then begs the obvious question, what is their purpose? Why did they burn down Navy's house? And who's watching him? We don't know much yet, but we get a better idea of what's going on here when we take a look at the description of the last video. The message seems like total gibberish, but if you attach it to the end of a YouTube URL, it takes you to an unlisted video on Navy's channel. Inside, the footage is very strange. It's of a player with a pumpkin on their head and an inventory containing a nether star, 5 space-looking blocks, 2 tulips, and a book. But this isn't any inventory. It's the same amount of levels as what Navy had in the last video right before he walked up to a pumpkin patch. The player, Navy or not, walks back to the house to find 3 signs on a cosmic block of sorts. We can't make out 2 of the signs. This one might say base, but the 3rd sign is in plain sight. Base with a lot of ease. The player keeps walking around for a little before the video ends, and there's also a comment from Navy himself. The night is approaching. But what does it mean? It's obvious that this might have something to do with BaseXD, but the connection isn't really obvious. My first reaction is that maybe Navy was captured. It does seem like his XP amount, but what happened to his inventory is a mystery. All we do know is that from here on, things are going to get far stranger, as in the next video, The Eye That Watches, Navy abandons his base with just a brick in his hotbar and sets off into the desert. In the top corner of the screen, we can see the black block back atop a tree, watching Navy. He leaves his house and keeps walking, seemingly unaware of the black blocks that line the rim of every body of water he passes. He either somehow doesn't notice, or for some reason is pretending not to. He continues until he reaches a savanna plateau. He climbs over the edge of a hill and sees red cows. Surely he should react, but he doesn't. He keeps walking until there's no excuse not to see it anymore. Navy stares at the cows, and the video ends. Something is evidently wrong with Navy's world, and maybe even Navy himself given his lack of a reaction, but we don't get much time to think it over, since the next video takes us into a completely different world. The video titled Forest notably doesn't have Navy's usual skin, and is in a square aspect ratio with far worse quality than before. The video consists of a player hiding from a skeleton, burrowing down into the ground, and only when they think the coast is clear, running off into the dark of night, just in time for the sun to rise. A minute in, we see a suspiciously dark block, but it may just be a lighting issue. Though while this video itself doesn't have much out of the normal, its description sure does. The text is encoded in zeros and ones, binary, and translating it to English using an online decoder gives us this string: "Don't kill the animals, or that will be mad." Is the "that" referring to the dark block we saw, or is it something else entirely? And whose gameplay even is this? Is it an earlier Navy or someone else? Until further notice, I'll call this person Steven, and we see Steven start off his next video killing a pig, which, might not be the smartest move, I can't lie. Steven stumbles around the plains in the dead of night, nothing strange, but as he comes up over a hill, he freezes. He notices a witch before booking it in the opposite direction, running through a crowd of mobs, tanking hit after hit, until again the video ends with him dying. But this time, the description of the video isn't just a cryptic message. Translating the zeros and ones, we get a link to an unlisted video titled experimentbase.json. Again, we have a new skin, this time red and blue, but the structure they're standing in front of is even more peculiar. It seems to be some sort of shrine made out of blocks we can't exactly identify, with an end portal frame on top. The player stares it down for a few seconds before jumping into the vast ocean in front of them. And that's it. What we just watched is odd, but it isn't obvious how it connects to either Navy or Steven. But luckily, we can tune right back into Steven's story, as the next video picks up with him walking through a savannah, and then this happens. Hey. Steven turns to run, taking shelter in a nearby cave, shaking his head no, but Base says to come closer, and Steven obliges. The video ends abruptly, with a brief chat message flickering in the bottom of the screen before it cuts. This is the fourth time the name Base has come up, and the second time we've seen it directly on a player. So does this Base have anything to do with the Base XD we saw in Navy's videos? It could be, but whoever he is, it seems Steven is irrationally scared of the guy, yet also obedient given he comes back when Base asks him to. It's not enough to draw any conclusions yet. All we can do is follow the story, which takes us to the video port, where Steven, I assume, is building up a little house by the beach. The video is extremely normal until 26 seconds in, the screen goes black and this text appears. It then cuts back like nothing happened and Steven finishes the port. But okay, this wasn't an ordinary message, it's clearly some sort of code. And decoding the message from base 64, which you can identify by the two equal signs at the end, gets you another link to an unlisted video, Inside 2. If you remember Inside 1, this video also has someone with a pumpkin on their head, but this time the space blocks are gone and it's just some tulips and another pumpkin. In the corner, we can see a pig held captive in a little plot of glass, with the sign underneath saying this: Tom, the last pig on Earth. The player places a tulip and it cuts there, and from what I understand so far, we're watching 3 stories unfold all at once. One is the story of Navy, the player we started this mystery with, who is just showing us around his base while being watched by a strange dark block in the distance. The dark blocks become more and more prevalent, and Navy runs into more and more anomalies before his footage suddenly runs cold. We then get the story of Steven, another player who, like Navy, is seemingly also just trying to play Minecraft, and if the next video is any indication, is also about to run into something strange. Finally, we have the Inside Man, a figure with a pumpkin on his head that seems to be more in the know as to what's going on, given he's had direct access to the cosmic blocks themselves. Not to mention, assuming that Inside Man isn't Navy, we know he has access to Navy's world as well. It's also very possible that this Inside 2 video was recorded on the same island where Steven built his port, in which case Inside Man has access to both worlds. And I'd even wager that this Inside Man might also be the same person we see in experiment-base.json given the weird nature of that video. Speaking of base though, both Navy and Steven have had interactions with someone named Base, though to be fair, Navy's base seemed totally normal, while Steven's base, well, you know. It's unclear what the connection between these three stories exactly is yet, but we know that there's at least some link between Inside Man and Navy, and, well, as I alluded to, Steven is also about to get roped into the fray. Steven starts off this video, again, killing a pig, a decision which may not be the most wise and doesn't go very long unpunished. Steven boards himself inside the house, the strange crying entity following close behind. It isn't that scary of a creature, but its existence is definitely abnormal. Why is this thing here? Steven checks if the coast is clear before walking around to make sure that the thing isn't there anymore. He walks back into his house before tearing down the door and boarding himself in, and that's the last we see from him. The description of this video is another base64 URL, but this time it's part of a Mediafire link to an image called ttlo.png. Though the link is broken and we can't actually download the image, we now almost surely know that Navy and Steven are both being watched and tracked down by someone, but that someone's intentions are still very much unknown. Is it really for killing animals? Well, killing animals, especially pigs, has been a recurring motif in the series. Navy, as you may notice, only feasts on pork. Steven starts off 2 of his videos killing a pig, and Inside Man is pretty concerned with preserving pigs, a goal that aligns with whoever the he we heard about earlier is. In any case, things are about to go from bad to worse, because in the next video, I Want to See You, we're actually back to some very oversaturated footage from Navy himself. I know this isn't his usual skin, but you'll just have to take my word for it, and I'll show this as Navy later on. He walks through a regular field, but then we see something odd in the tree next to him, and the video cuts. The word stop appears on screen, and the footage repeats over and over in some sort of loop before it breaks and the video ends. The floating head we saw resembled that of the entity that jumped Steven in the last video, and it's clear that what was coming for him has just come for Navy as well. The description is more base64, and it's the same message over and over and over again. Do the eyes see me? Creepy on its own, but the description of the following video is even more concerning. We're back to Navy's original blue hand, but in a place we've never seen before. A long corridor of the eye blocks, all watching Navy. Actually, wait, this isn't Navy at all. The difference is subtle, but these darker 2 pixels aren't on the edges of Navy's arm, but they are for whoever this is. This is someone new. The mystery figure walks for a while before reaching a sign with some odd text. He keeps walking and runs into a very simple looking base setup, and then a second sign, equally sparse, then a third. He then enters a room with a structure like the one we saw in experiment-base.json, with an eye block watching from atop a pedestal. There's a pit with a sign written in gibberish, and our player hesitates for a little before taking the plunge down. If we analyze the signs we walked past, we can see that each random symbol corresponds with a letter. Putting them all together, of course, spells I. In the next video, Ascend, our mystery man descends deeper into the complex, entering a huge room with eyes everywhere. In the corner, we can spot another pig trapped in glass, a strange clump of leaves, a stream of water, and an obsidian shrine with eyes all over it. The player keeps walking through it, taking it all in. He passes by a cluster of signs with one word written all over them. I. He keeps walking into another group of signs with very unsettling messages. Please, my eyes. I won't kill them anymore. Navy 208. Please forgive us. Ascend, take me back. Ascend is our god. Our character is momentarily transfixed, before then eyeing what looks like a replica of Navy's old base from the very beginning. He keeps walking. The player then reads one more final sign, asking if he'd like to ascend. This is by far the most important video we've seen yet. The text below the red face, who I can only guess is meant to be Ascend himself, apparently confirms that he's some sort of angel, god, deity type figure. He's likely the same he who doesn't wish animals to be killed, hence why some of the signs are asking for forgiveness, saying they won't kill anymore. We can guess that it's this Ascend figure who's been controlling all the eyes, watching over Navy and Steven. But who is this new figure that's inside his complex? Is it Inside Man, Base? Luckily, the next video picks up right where this one left off, and the player falls into a totally white room. He walks through a few signs. Did I ascend? Do I ascend? Ascend with them. Trust our God, ascend. We will ascend. He keeps walking, through the white and back into the eye blocks. And there's our god once again. The footage suddenly cuts though, and we're greeted by a familiar hotbar, Inside Man. The screen is half covered in eyes, and we can barely tell what's going on. Briefly, we can see the book in his hand is titled Ascend. He runs through plenty of signs that I can't make out, but this one definitely says, I need eyes. The next video picks up with Inside Man running through the same area, coming across these new red eye blocks. It suddenly cuts to a piece of text, which I'll come back to in a moment, and when it cuts back, Inside Man is investigating the large clump of these Ascend eyes, I'll call them. He hesitates before, of course, jumping down. Whoever Inside Man is, they're clearly going deeper and deeper into this Sky Eye complex. Whether they're part of it or some sort of infiltrator is yet to be known, but unlike the player from before, he seems to have some sort of idea of what he's doing. But let's revisit the text we saw earlier. Running it through a base 64 decoder, we get a Mediafire link to a file called ascendfootage.png. And I want to say now, do not do what I did and download files from the internet that you don't know who created. That's how you get viruses. With that said though, this is what the image looks like. It's a red filter over a beta house with a weird white light shining through the door. For a link that was on screen for essentially half the video, I was expecting something a bit more informative, but the next video takes us somewhere completely different. We now get to see a hand for the first time in a while, and it's an Alex skin we've never seen before. Someone actually left a comment about the skin change, to which Navy responds with a link to an Imgur file of a house. It looks like the same house we see in the video, except before some sort of disaster. Alex enters the house and looks around, showing us a strange black block in the top corner. The house extends much further back than you'd think, and Alex walks up to two tunnels, one labeled no exit and the other exit. After a bit of deliberation, Alex picks exit and continues down the hall. She heads down a side corridor and runs into a few signs. They're too dim to see at first, but brightening the video, we get, "Do you see me?" Alex turns around and heads towards the exit before the corridor turns into eyes. And of course, Alex jumps. The story picks up right back in the next video, and Alex looks around to find themselves in a strange gray world, the playground. There are spiraling towers, a tall pillar, trees made of wool, strange floating cacti, and suddenly a jump cut to the Ascend footage image we downloaded before. When we cut back, Alex is standing on a pile of Ascend eyes, and it appears she's back in the headquarters, but a few of the buildings remain. Alex runs off into the darkness and seems to materialize inside a house in the following video, the center. After a second of looking around, Alex walks outside into a gray world with signs waiting for them. I watched you. I know what you did to them. I'm not gonna let that happen. Welcome to Experiment Base. You are gonna ascend. Follow me and ascend with me and the other people. Beside her new house is a pen almost overflowing with pigs. Scattered all around are strange structures and pillars of blocks leading into clumps of Ascend eyes watching over it all. Alex follows a trail of torches into a nearby building. There's a sign that says art, and as they walk in, we get hit with a very strange bit of audio. The video cuts back, and Alex stands in front of a pit of Ascendies. I don't need to tell you what happens next, I'm sure you can guess. Let's try and digest what we just watched. It's uncertain if Alex is the same person as Inside Man, but given her hesitance and Inside Man's apparent confidence, I'd wager they're two different people. In that case, how Alex got to the house in the first place is unknown, but their behavior looks very similar to that of the player who got abducted into the Sky Eye. It could well be that they shared a similar fate. In any case though, after traveling through the various oddities of whatever this place is, Alex runs into these messages, which I'd guess are from Ascend himself. The most interesting sign by far though is this one. It implies that this whole setup is some sort of protocol or experiment made to deal with players who Ascend wants to capture, and actually the sign Ascend with all of us makes me think that this writer isn't Ascend and maybe someone who works under him. Perhaps it's Base himself, though that's largely speculation for now. The audio we hear inside the house sounds like it could be some sort of audio cipher, though after putting it in both a spectrogram and oscilloscope, it came back with no hidden meaning. It seems like it's really just weird noise. There's also these buttons out on the front of the house, which I thought could be some sort of Morse or binary code, but no matter what I tried, assigning torches as dots, buttons as dots, multiple buttons as dashes, single buttons as dots, nothing gave any intelligible message. So all that we're left with is that this Alex player quote-unquote ascended, just like the others we've seen. But why? And by now, I'm sure you may have lots of other questions, but don't worry, because so does Navy. Our guy, Navy 208, is back, clearly not gone just yet. The arm we see here is the same arm that I told you was Navy a few videos ago, so we can assume that this is where he was sent after whatever that was captured him. Navy stumbles across a weird misshapen player named Void Base N566, and then we see something huge. This player has the exact same arm as the arm we saw from Sky Eye to Descend. This is that same player who was exploring the complex. Hello? Who are you? You. Me. You. Me what? What do you mean? Him. Who? Hello? Ask. Who is Ask? Him. I don't understand. He wants me. What? My eyes. Eyes? Void then turns his head at Navy, and Navy begins to run away, sprinting from Void.